Shalom and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled Rav Aharon Lichtenstein Zecher Tzadik Levracha. As we all know, Rav Aharon passed away just recently, a little bit after Pesach, right before Yom Ha'atzmaut. I was Zocher to learn almost 30 years ago in Gush, and even though it's been a long time since I've been there, became more connected to him through his writing, especially since I arrived in Eretz Israel, and saw the way he looked at life in Eretz Israel and in general. I'd like to just mention a couple of points. One that really is so fundamental to his whole hashkafa. The idea of man being involved in building up civilization, wherever it may be around the world, and specifically, of course, in Eretz Israel, being involved in life in Israel. So there's a pasuk in the very beginning of the Torah where Hashem went ahead and told Adam to be involved in Gan Aiden, L'ovdah Ulshomrah. Where Aaron says that people sometimes make a mistake and think that being involved in work doesn't just mean 9-to-5 job. It means going ahead and being involved in building up the civilization and being involved building up the country in whatever way is necessary. They look at work maybe as a curse, because we know that Adam was kicked out of Gan Aiden. He was told to work, and that's a curse. So therefore, you certainly want to minimize the involvement in a curse and minimize the work, and you stay in the base as much as possible, and you're not involved in the work, just the minimal. And the Rav Dessler, for example, who had many great works, and MIchtav Maieliyahu, of course, guided us in so many ways. In this specific area, maintain that you minimize your involvement in work because it's a punishment, and you rely more on bitachon. Why would you want to go ahead and be involved in work, which is something negative? And if you maximize the bitachon, you minimize the work, and Yetz Hashem, everything should work out. Rav Aharon maintains that L'ovdah Ulshomrah already was given to Adam in Gan Aiden, the idea of work and cultivating and developing society. Yes, as a punishment. And what was the punishment? The punishment was that when we are involved in work, it's going to be b'zeyat tapecha. It's going to be hard, it's going to be difficult. And it's going to be kotz v'darda. That was the punishment from Gan Aiden, that we violated the command in Gan Aiden. But the fact that we need to be involved in building up society, even outside the base medrash, that was set from day one. L'ovdah Ulshomrah. And therefore, this approach of Aharon, of course, led to many nafkaminas. Many things came out of this approach, whether it's in Eretz Israel, where we might be involved in having to build up society, or might be involved in building up tzahal, and the idea that you may have to do things outside of the base medrash, even though, of course, a person's goal is to spend as many days, weeks, months, and years in the base medrash, as a bacher and as a married fellow as well, of course, but there's another obligation as well. One's personal learning is crucial, but also building up the society. Of course, how each one is going to balance that, he needs to really have some very serious talks with his Rebbe, and it depends on his personal situation. There's so many factors involved in his talents. But to me, there was a crucial point of Rav Aharon's. The L'ovdah Ulshomrah is from day one in Gan Aiden already, setting up a path for mankind, that he has to have his eye on the civilization, on the society. And that's l'chatchila. That is l'chatchila. And then he has to work on setting up the delicate balance. It's not considered a bidi evet and a nebuch that he was thrown out and now he has to work. And of course, this idea just has many ramifications in many different areas of life. That's just one point. Yetz Hashem, we'll talk about some other points about this giant in the future. Shalom.